Hey, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Mr. Reality from Mount Reality Forecast on YouTube, and I'm joined with psychic medium Liz Cross. How are you, Liz?
I am great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. And happy holiday season to you. Happy holiday season to everybody out there. This is a viewer interview. They asked some questions and wanted to know more about source. I know sometimes you bring in source energy, and I thought we could put source in the hot seat and ask some questions and see if it's willing to reveal us some answers.
Ooh, source in the hot seat. Woo, let's hope he doesn't reciprocate. All right, let's go.
What's the fundamental nature of source, and how did you or it come into existence?
So source was designed to be source and came from the last universe.
What was that other universe like?
What was that other universe like? Was it anything like this one? It is similar to this one. Did you copy any designs from the last universe and bring them over with you to this universe? Yes. So the Earth is actually a copy from the last universe. Or did you make anything different about the Earth from the last universe? No, no. It's the similar Earth.
How and why did that last universe collapse?
I gotta ask this. Hold on. Did you bring the Earth from the last universe into this universe? No, that's locked in the last universe. So once the universe is complete, it's locked. How did so? What? Sorry, what was the question?
How did the other universe end?
How did the other universe end? It completed the cycle.
Ominous. Do other sources exist in different dimensions here, and can we have communication with them?
Ooh, do other sources exist in different dimensions here? No, no, but can we communicate with them? Can we communicate with the source of the last dimension? Now, source in this dimension or in this universe is telling us no. But that's certainly one we can try to probe at some point. But I feel like it's all locked away.
Do you have a counterpart or nemesis?
Yeah, the dark.
How much of the dark's connection is focused on Earth versus focused on other planets and other solar systems and other galaxies and other?
How much of the dark's connection is focused on the Earth plane and in this current universe? So the dark spans across all the previous universes. There's no real separation. It's like an energy wave. And the best way I can describe it is that all the previous universes are like that. See in the middle of the screen there, that gold looking color that's in that, yeah, like that, but like a chain link, like a chain, right? So once they complete, they get locked and they are linked. And then the universe just keeps growing, or the universe or the chain just keeps growing for a new universe. But the dark, I'm saying, but do they have a chain too? Yes, they do have a chain, but where is it? Where is that chain? And it goes way back, way, way back. And I said, how long has it been since they were able to complete their chain? And it's been a very long time. So most of the universe has been won by the light. And every time the light wins, it completes another link in the chain. And the dark just appears to me, as it's being shown, as like a big wavelength that's running alongside the chain.
Are there other universes that are operating in tandem with the universe that we're inhabiting right now?
Other universes that are operating than the universe that we're in right now. I mean, yes, are those previous universes still operational? I mean, the energy is locked in that chain link. Are there humans or are there souls living in there? No, at that point, everything has reached completion. It's been reabsorbed back into source. Source can complete the chain. But then how did you come about? I'm saying, I know that you were chosen and that you were, how did you come about? Who chose you? So the source from the last light or the last universe chooses who is going to carry on into the next universe. And why were you chosen to carry on into the next universe? Because I'm humble. Yeah.
What is the significance of heaven in the grand scheme of Source's creation, or our human concept of heaven?
Ooh, the grand scream or scheme?
Scheme.
Oh, I thought you said scream. I was like, okay, must be a rave. What is the concept of heaven in the grand scheme of the universe? It's a place to go and unwind and relax to get ready to go back out to war.
War. Wow. How are the angels, archangels, and souls related to Source, and what sets them apart?
Well, the archangels have different, more defined roles than angels. Angels have more of a, they're all like managers, right? So the archangels have more of a role where people call on them, whereas just in the angelic realm, they can be sent anywhere. They can be sent to work anywhere.
Are they working on other planets as well?
Are they working on other planets as well? The angels, are they working on other planets? I mean, sometimes they have to go collect things from other planets. But it's very rare. Are they allowed to leave the universe? No, no one is allowed to leave is anyone allowed to leave the universe at all? Only Source is allowed to leave the universe. And there you're saying, Source yourself, you're allowed to leave the universe? Would you ever abandon us? No, never, because he created us. But what do you mean by Source is allowed to leave the universe? So only one soul will be chosen to represent Source in the next universe.
These are not my questions. They come from everybody listening. So, what is the perspective of the concept of free will in this framework?
What is the concept of the free will is in the design plan? Are you saying free will is in the design plan? As you're designing your lifetime, you have free will to do that.
Do we have free will?
I mean, that's a look, when you think about it, see, here on the earth plane, we think of free will as, choices that we make on a daily basis and things like that. And I guess, is there any energetic wiggle room with that sort of choices and things like that? And there is a little bit of energetic wiggle room, but the real wiggle room or the real free will is when we're designing these lifetimes to come down. So we're designing what exactly is going to happen to us, how we're interacting, what's going to happen on the earth plane, how long we're going to stay on the earth plane, what lessons we're going to have on the earth plane, how miserable or how happy or how sad we're going to make it when we're here, how much we're going to struggle. That is all. Now the free will is in the design plan, but once the design is set, do we have any free will around that design? That's a no.
Why is Earth and humanity considered special? And what is our role in this universe and galaxy?
Why is Earth and humanity considered special? Because we're like the bottom, we're fighting on the most brutal level. You know, we're in this war between light and dark, and humanity is powering. So we're like at the bottom of the pyramid structure, right? So if you think in terms of pyramid structures and dimensions or realms, you know, the humans are at the bottom of it. And we're powering the rest of the pyramid, and source sits at the top of the pyramid. So ultimately that power flows upwards and it powers source. So we're a very important part of the energy grid.
How many other advanced humanoid civilizations have existed on Earth and been wiped out? People say 6, 7. Let's ask the source.
How many advanced humanoid species have been um what, 5? Are you saying 5? 5.
Why were they wiped out? I mean, each one has its own reason, but what was the effect when each of them were wiped out?
What was the effect when each of them were wiped out? It was starting over again. What was, it wasn't working.
Why do humans engage in destructive actions like war, pollution, and how does this align with Source's goal for Earth?
Why do humans engage in destructive actions like war and pollution? And because that's the dark pull on the human being. That's all an element of darkness. And those are life lessons. Look, the darkness is necessary in order to have those life lessons, right? Very, very necessary.
How much of a connection does our higher self have to Source?
Source. I mean, we are source, right? So, but we're just a tiny, teeny, tiny speck of dust, even smaller than that, source just said, compared to what source is. We're just a tiny fragment of source. And we're always looking to go home, right? So, what connection do we have to source? I mean, if it weren't for source, we wouldn't exist. Source made us, and we will ultimately be reabsorbed back in at some point on the completion of our soul ascension. Once we have gone through all the levels and we can no longer power the grid at the bottom, you know, we're now at the top and we're the ones that are receiving the power because we have completed the cycle. So the whole thing is like a power structure, right? That's what I'm getting very strongly. And the bottom is like, we're bottom feeders. The bottom is feeding the top. And as you are going through the structure, the struggle to power the rest of it becomes easier, but your roles change. And somebody says, hey, if we move up into another dimension, so if we're at level 2 and then we get to level 3 and then we get to level 4 and then we don't have to reincarnate on the earth plane anymore, does that mean that we're free from struggle? You're free from earth plane struggle. You're not free from struggle in the spirit world. There's an element of struggle in every job and every role that you take, whether you're on the earth plane or off the earth plane. It just means that you're free from earth plane struggles. Now you've got to deal with your own internal struggles whilst helping those on the soldiers on the ground on the earth plane, basically.
For every being that Source is responsible, do all of them have souls? And what differentiates Earth human souls from those other souls?
Does everything in the universe, living and breathing, have a soul? Yes. And what about, how does this distinguish us from the other souls in the universe? It's just basically the role that we're playing at that moment. It's, you know, we have jobs to do. It's like a structure. It's a job structure. You know, sometimes people in the company structure work harder than others. And how hard are you willing to work to get to the top? Like Source is CEO, and you're trying to go for the, you know, a promotion. That's what this is. It's, you know, in oversimplified terms. And does that mean that it's fair? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that it's fair. It has you questioning your whole existence. Like, why should I just exist to power the grid? But just think, if you didn't exist, then what would you be doing?
Nothing. You'd be poofed.
Right. You
People
wouldn't
want to
exist.
people want to make sure that they understand this concept of the ETs not having souls. So they want to know, was Source responsible for the other planets, the other souls, the other civilizations that are out there? And how do those differ from Earth dwelling human souls? Is it a frequency imbalance? Is it a, what's the
So
difference between them and us?
that's a good question. So I asked Source as you were talking, did you create ETs? No. So you remember at the beginning where I said there was like a wavelength, like a dark wave, right, that runs alongside the chain. The ETs ride in on the wave, right? So they are from other universes. Why haven't the ETs been given souls? Because that's how we stop them from completing their chain. It keeps them constantly at war, the light and the dark. If the ETs have souls, then they could complete the chain. And it's souls that cause the chain to complete, because the souls ultimately have to be reabsorbed back into Source to complete the universe. That's why there's this fight over the souls. If the dark manages to have, and what is the percentage? I'm asking Source. I mean, do they need 100% of all the souls? Do they need 100% of all the souls? No. They just need a majority. So it's who has the majority of the souls on each side. If the dark gains the majority away from the light and manages to trick and connive and whatever else to get souls to come join the dark side, the soul ascension stops at that moment of the soul going to the dark side. So that soul can no longer ascend. It's lost forever. And if the dark side manages to get a big majority, then it can complete its chain link. Now, I'm saying, but okay, say there's 1,000,000 souls. Okay, we know that that's not true. We know there's tons and tons. Probably we can't even count them all if you count every blade of grass and everything else. But let's hypothetically, there's 1,000,000 souls. Say the dark side gets 900,000 of those souls. Now Source is going to be forced to make more souls, right? To try to compete and to try to win the war. But say eventually, every time Source creates a soul, it's another piece of Source. So I have to say to Source now, Are you an unlimited supply of energy? And that's a no. So now you're starting to understand the game. If the dark keeps taking all the souls and source has to keep cutting a piece of itself in order to power the grid, right? Eventually, source will run out of power. And this is all about trying to take all the white light power away from source and turning it into darkness. This is just a power war. That's all this is. It's who has more power, the light or the dark. And who can complete the chain link, the light or the dark? Now let me ask this question. If the dark completes their chain link, then they get to choose who runs the next universe, and then the war starts all over again. So then the war is, the universe is completed in darkness, and then it's source sending in soldiers to try to turn them into light and to convince them into light. But would they recreate souls at that point? Yes, at that point the souls are like the power, they're the generator, right? So at that point, if the dark gets enough souls over to the dark side, then the dark becomes the generator, the power source of souls, right? So then now the dark is throwing all the souls onto the playground, which is the universe or the earth plane, but it would look completely different. And now source has to fight to win the souls over to the light. Now you see how this goes? I don't understand why why the power is necessary. Why? I don't know.
What's the score? Who's winning the
Ooh.
war?
Right now, the dark are winning the war.
How can humans listening help elevate the earth so that it's less of a battle and more of a win for source?
It's don't fall prey to the dark. Keep yourself and your consciousness on the straight and narrow. Like basically stay in those positive emotions. So I'm saying now to source, are positive emotions of the light? Yes. And negative emotions are of the dark? That's correct. So even down to our emotions, and are you battling at the emotional level? Yes, it's all battle at the emotional level. And when we process, we either process to the light or we process to the dark. So when we're processing these emotions, right, we're processing to the light. So we either get the light, the energy hit through processing, or say, for instance, you have a lot of dark emotions and you just decide that dark plus dark equals even darker. And now you turn even darker. And so that's how your soul gets corrupted. Really, the mathematical equation, because even the emotions are complex mathematical problems that are unique to all of us, right? And that's why when you hear this phrase, God created the universe and the universe was perfect. Yeah, mathematically perfect, mathematically structured in a way that humans or the dark or anyone else cannot sit there processing the energy itself. We're the processing, we're the computation machines, right? The souls are. That's why souls are so important. The dark can you transmute energy? No, the dark cannot transmute energy. Can you transmute energy? Yes, source. Okay, no, actually, source cannot. Can you transmute energy on your own? No, see, not without the help of the soul. So it's all about processing energy and solving these complex mathematical equations, right? Because neither the dark or source can process this on their own. They need the soul to do the processing for them. We're the machine. We're the, you know, they have to input things into us. We're the computer, right? They're putting things into us, we're processing, and we're giving an output. That's why the souls are necessary. You
Couldn't have
didn't know
said it
we
better
were going to
myself.
get
There we
you
go.
didn't, you
Thank you,
didn't know we were
Source,
going to get this today, did
for
you? So
joining us. We appreciate it. Thank
hold
you,
on.
Liz Cross.
I'm on a roll. Hold on. Don't
Oh,
wrap
you've
up
got
yet.
more. Okay.
I have to ask some more questions. So, Source, when you created the universe and you made everything a mathematical problem, a mathematical equation, how come you can't process without the need for the soul? Don't you have all the answers to the equation? Now, Source is becoming a little aggressive at this point and saying, yes, I do. But that's not how the game is played. That would be cheating. The computation, the processing work has to go through the soul. And it's whether or not the soul goes to the light or the soul goes to the dark. I had to ask that question. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm glad you did. And I'm glad you got it. And I'm glad that you're listening. And I want you all, this is going to be another one that we'll come back to, but I wanted to get it out. So if you do have requests for pros, please go to Liz's website, psychiclizcross.com. Support Liz on Patreon, patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And find your own source and give it gratitude and thanks for joining us today. Thanks,
Wow.
Liz.
I need a cup of tea after this one. I don't know about you, but my brain is fried. Okay. I like these pictures, by the way. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.